And gentlemen, all right, I hope you're enjoying my view right now. Okay, how I wish this is my view home. Okay, can you see some skyscraper behind? All right, so good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So as you know, today is no ordinary day. Okay, it's not your usual training event. Okay, in fact, we are officially doing our soft launch for the hottest selling product right now. All right, which is Stronghold. To give you a bit of context, in the US, I think it was 2 months ago, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, right, about 2 months ago, US just launched Stronghold. Right, so after Dr. Benjamin Bigman had done the presentation, right, it was viral. Okay, honestly speaking, it went viral and everybody was buying like hotcakes. So after that, Asia also caught the wave. So Japan was the first Asian market that got to buy this Stronghold. So upon selling it in like 2 hours, it was gone. All right, 2 hours sold out. So it's like, imagine buying your Taylor Swift tickets, okay? Like maybe Taylor Swift tickets is a lot more intense, okay? I don't know, but you can feel the kind of intensity and the kind of eagerness to get it ASAP. So because of how much demand there is, everywhere right now, literally every single country is like snatching. Okay, they want to grab this to sell in their countries ASAP. Right. So so we are considered pretty lucky. All right, Singaporeans, you guys are really lucky. You are one of the first few that always get to enjoy products first. So you can see they're one of the top 5 countries that have Stronghold right now. All right. So right after Singapore, it's going to be Korea. So Korea is going to grab like a lot of stock. Okay, so because of this, today is going to be a soft launch event. So I'm not sure if you have noticed, in the past it's always a permanent launch. Okay, they can grab it, but due to the stock count right now and how in demand this is, we have very limited quantities. All right, so this can only go on for 5 days. It's a very short time launch, and we have officially broke record. This is the first time ever in MSB history that we are sold out on pickup orders. All right, so at the moment right now, even before the talk begin, can you believe it? We are already sold out on pickup orders. So right now, if you want to buy, it has to be delivery option. Okay, we are full capacity already in the office. All right, and of course, if you are if you have other IDs, for example, you can also buy. But the only thing is you have to collect the stock in Singapore. So that is the only thing. But if you are Malaysian, you are Thai or whatever, as long as you have an ID, you can buy in Singapore. All right, so I'm sure those on this call must be wondering, hey, what is the big deal? All right, like, well, Unicity it's not like our first time producing a protein-related product, right? We've done so many. So what is this Stronghold that making it like different compared to our predecessor, that it can be viral until this extent? All right, so there is a good reason, because if there isn't a reason, well, we'll be seeing a lot of other products like that, right? But there must be a good reason. So I'm sure till right after this event, you'll be fully convinced the magic ingredient, okay, that's making this really unique. All right, so are you excited? Okay, I'm sure I'm really excited to share with you today. Now, as we begin this topic, I figured it's really important that we have to clear the air about certain misconception about protein. All right, to be exact, it's not really like 100% protein supplement, but still it has a certain component of protein inside. All right, because of this, I think it's really important that we frame the conversation and we have to clarify certain misconception about this. Because I think that with the way how protein is being marketed today, it has always been projected and targeted towards a group of people who are more into workouts. Right, the people would think that, oh, because I go to the gym, all right? I am vain. I care about my appearance. So I take protein supplements, right? And because of that, it creates a distance. And people think that it's not a priority. They think, I'm also not very physically active one. So why do I need this protein? Okay, I don't think that is something that I need to have. And apart from that, I think there's a lot of misconception circulating around the topic of protein as well. That people get really fearful, really apprehensive, and they feel sketchy about it. They feel that, I think if I take additional protein supplement, it's going to hurt my kidney, I'm going to have high uric acid level, is all that kind of concern. So based on real scientific studies, okay, for those, most of us, okay, if you have a healthy baseline of kidney function, okay, I'm sure if you go to do a kidney function test, a blood test, they will do that calculation for you, right? Which is called your glomerular filtration rate, your GFR rate. So as long as it's in the healthy state, whatever protein source you take, okay, it should not be a cause of concern. Unless you have already a baseline of high kidney function problem, or you have a baseline, which most people don't have that. Okay, and we're talking about what? Unicity, our protein is only like 12 gram, 15 gram. Okay, there are so many out there, there's like 20, 30, 40. Okay, that those are cause of concern. People may be thinking, oh, I'm taking such a high dose, right? So we are well in the safety zone. And FYI, we do a lot of safety tests as well. So right now, I have the opportunity to be in touch with all the regulatory aspect, and I see all those results, okay? So we do a lot of heavy metal testing, and there's no toxic things that's in there, because if not, we can't get this sold, right? So where you get your products is also very important. Don't get on Shopee randomly, right? So a reputable company is also really important to ensure that what we take is safe for consumption. So today we're here to address some really important questions. Number one, of course, is protein only for a selected group of people, or vain people, all right? Or of course, what does protein do, right? You may not be one of those, gym junkie, or, really hyper into, physical exercise. But if I'm a normal person, okay, in the office and walk like normal people, so how would this then benefit me? How can this translate to other aspects of my life that will make it more relevant to me? And because of this reason, I will be then convinced that I have to care about muscle health. Right? So this is important, and today you will know why. So I just want to throw this question out there. What is the most metabolically active organ? So just say, okay, whatever that's in your mind. I'm sure that the first three will be brain. I don't think it's surprising. Many people have thought about it, because obviously it does all kinds of function for us to make decisions, and it's firing neurons all the time. So it's no surprise that it's really active, right? So next is the kidney. Okay, I was slightly surprised by this, because well, maybe I would think it's the heart, right? But kidney, yeah, is working overtime for us to filter all kinds of our blood, all that kind of things in our body. But what caught me by surprise, the muscle is actually number one most metabolically active organ. I thought it was the heart. Like, why is the heart not here at all? Because I thought it was beating really hard. But apparently, it's not even in this list. So muscle is the most metabolically active organ, because it takes up 80% of glucose in our body. So majority of the glucose stores actually go into your muscle. And we always think that it's maybe the liver, or somewhere else, but it is actually in the muscle, 80%. Now, this is a chart that shows with time how a person would be diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Okay, and with this trajectory, you can see that sugar level increases over time. But this graph is limiting, because it only shows us one aspect of it. In fact, I think it would be more accurate if we include the dimension of insulin level into this graph. Okay, because through this, we can then understand, oh, actually, insulin levels has escalated so much more before the onset of diabetes. Okay, that is, you see a huge increase before it levels out. and it cross over with that high sugar level. So this is why insulin resistance is not just about talk. Okay, there's real science behind it. And in fact, a person has high insulin levels 10 to 15 years before the manifestation of diabetes. So with this, we can see that insulin resistance would happen first before the onset of diabetes. And if you want to do any change, it's best for you to do when it's before that type 2 diabetes. So at this realm, things are still reversible. But once you cross over, it's going to be a bit more challenging to mitigate the effects of type 2 diabetes already. So a very interesting finding that Dr. Benjamin has shared, he said this probability could have occurred because of how our muscle has become insulin resistant. I was like so mind blown, right? Yeah, never thought about this before because it has always been just the blood, and all that. Like, we never really put muscle into this equation because, like I said, we always think it's just about working out and all that. But it plays so much more of a critical role in controlling and regulating our sugar level. So I think this is quite profound. And I think it makes sense based on what we have spoke about just now, about being the most metabolically active organ, and it takes up 80% of the sugar level in our blood. So to put this into perspective, so this is how insulin, muscle, and our food stores were to work. So this is the same thing that will happen in our cell as well, but for better illustration, I put muscle as the main figure here. So as you can see here, before sugar can enter into your cell to produce an action, it has to bind to the receptor site. So insulin plays a really important role as well, because if it does not bind, then your sugar won't be able to shuffle into your muscle cell, and hence it will not be able to produce the desired effect, which is nutrient metabolism, growth, and muscle building, and things like that. So this is where we see the dynamics between insulin, muscle, and sugar shuttling into your muscle cells. So imagine if insulin resistance were to happen to our muscle cells. Okay, what would that be? So muscle is in fact really important for insulin sensitivity, as you could have guessed, right? Because when muscle cannot respond to the action of insulin, if it can't bind, then the sugar that's in your blood that is supposed to be metabolized, it cannot go anywhere. So your muscle is going to starve, all right, and there's going to be so much surplus of all these things in your bloodstream, okay, and it's just going to go downhill from there. So muscle plays a really important role as a regulator. Like it regulates the sugar level that's circulating in your bloodstream because it uptakes 80% of sugar in the blood. It is a very active organ and it constantly needs food source. So if not, you're going to starve your muscle and eventually it's going to break down. So this is where high insulin and high sugar level would happen, and you're just going to have that onset of diabetes as well. So I think this gives us a really important perspective, which I think was never really been taught before. And because of this, it totally shifts our perspective towards muscle health. And it makes sense actually why some people, unexplainably, even though they may look physically healthy, but it could, because things like muscle we can't really see, but then they may also come with diabetic related symptoms. So this may explain that mystery. So when muscle is healthy, sugars can go into your muscle cells. And because of that, your muscle will be well fed, it can expand, it can grow, and insulin levels in your blood will naturally reduce. So you will then have healthy sugar level, and also because of a result, you will have healthy insulin response as well. Okay? Now, what can cause problems? So, well, if there isn't anything that happened to your muscle cells, then generally it will not cause a problem. But it will be when your muscle starts to shrink. Okay, so when your muscles get smaller, that will also influence how your body is able to metabolize and clear those excess glucose in your bloodstream. And in what situation this happen? Okay, so muscle loss is a natural progress that will happen over time. And this is very natural progression with age, right? And this graph shows us this. So our muscle will peak at 25. It will be at its most supple state. So once you hit 30, that's where more significant signs of aging would happen. So 3 to 5% loss will be observed here. So give it another decade, it will be 8%. And another few more decades is going to be 10, 15, and of course, it will only go downhill from here. So through this graph, we can also see graphically how it will be like in our body. But if you can see here, our muscle mass, the threshold is quite high. So once you hit 75%, you are at a very critical state already, because it says here, okay, less than 70% zone where risk of death is high. So this means that muscle plays a very important role in sustaining our life as well. Okay, it holds our body together, and it is a very critical sign towards lifespan. So how does this look like if we were to compare it with the same BMI? Okay, sometimes I feel that it's quite hard to visualize, because an old person and a young person can have the same BMI, but they have the same weight, but they don't tell us the same story. Just like my brother and my dad, they are the same weight, So you are the same weight. But actually, if you look at things macroscopically, it's very different, This one, okay, the younger one, we can see that the muscle fibers are still very much intact. Okay, but for the older one, there's red color spots here. These are what we call fat deposits that will start to accumulate in your muscle cells. And this is where, things like sarcopenia will start to happen. This is a more clearer visual that shows how it happens. So a healthy muscle mass just looks like a really fresh piece of beef, or steak for that matter. That there's a lot of, the myoglobin is still very radiant. All right, and for the more leaner here, there's more fat deposit than muscle. So this is not supposed to happen actually, but age is one factor. But insulin resistance can also speed up this process. And it is very dangerous, especially for those who are at obesity, because for those who are obesity or have very high fat percentage, their muscle can become like this, that the environment in their body will promote free fatty acid to accumulate in your muscle, and it will lead to muscle loss and accumulation of fat. So this is not going to be good for your total muscle health. So what I want to say here is that insulin resistance can happen to anyone. Even though sarcopenia is mostly associated with a more older population, but a young teenager, okay, if you are highly insulin resistant in your muscle, you can also experience muscle wasting. And the same thing like this can also happen to a young person. So this further emphasizes the importance of having good muscle health. Okay, we're not talking about how big is it, but is it healthy? Is your muscle healthy? Right, so what can cause problem is that, number one, when your muscles start to shrink and it loses its ability to rebuild itself. Naturally, most of our muscle will be, shuttling in protein, and it can also lose protein at the same time. That's quite normal. But it's not normal when your body cannot rebuild itself, because this is what we call anabolic resistance, okay, which is a problem. So, like I said, in every given moment, always muscle loss and muscle building is happening at the same time. It's always happening. But it's not good when we can take in amino acid, but we are losing a lot out from our system. So a lot of amino acid, which is protein, essentially, come in, but we cannot stop that muscle wasting process. A lot of them get leached out. So this is the problem also. It's not that we are not eating enough protein, but the problem is that our body just cannot control this thing, and we are losing more than we are taking in. So how can we solve this problem? So this is where Stronghold plays a very important differentiation role that is not another protein supplement. Okay, of course, protein supplement has its function, but it does more than that. It fills a very important gap. Okay, as I go into the ingredients, you will understand what I'm saying. So number one, we have to use a superior protein. So the role of this protein is to activate our muscle cells. So we use whey protein isolate because it is the highest bioavailability is the best quality protein. It has the smallest molecular size. So because of this, your muscle is able to uptake all of the protein. So that's why there's a difference, if you take a bad protein quality, okay, plant protein is actually not that good, frankly, but compared to, whey or like animal-based protein, because they have all the essential amino acid and you can uptake it 100%. So because of this, it will increase the uptake that you can in everything that your muscle is able to pick up. And because of this, your muscle is able to produce, is able to undergo muscle protein synthesis, and the stats is amazing. Okay, it can go up to half, 47%. That just by taking a good quality protein, you're already activating your muscle to expand up to 47%. So I think this is a really important role, right? To start kickstarting the whole muscle building progress in your body. So on top of that, okay, it only gets better from here. Right? Trust me, this is not even the best part yet. So we want to introduce two components here, which is leucine and calcium hydroxymethylbutyrate. I know this is a handful, but trust me, okay, it's a really important component. So our protein is made up of many amino acids. Okay, so they are basically smaller units of protein. So leucine is one of the strongest and the highest bioavailability when it comes to muscle building. Okay, it sends the strongest signal to your muscle to start the muscle building process, the anabolic process. Okay, so once you have leucine, it is able to stimulate your muscle to keep, let's start the engine running. So we pair this up with calcium hydroxymethylbutyrate. Okay, this is a metabolite of leucine, and it does two important functions. Number one, it helps to build up strongest muscle building signal. All right, and at the meantime, it's able to balance out this in and out thing. It sends a signal to our body to stop the muscle loss signal. Okay, not just only you have to open that signal to build muscle, but you also have to stop that muscle loss signal. So it's able to do this dual function, which is a really smart way of regulating the muscle life cycle. All right. So by adding both of these, it's able to activate the expression of this protein in what we call mTOR. Right? If you're in this space, you would know that mTOR is a very popular enzyme actually, and you want to activate more of this because this is really important for muscle synthesis. Okay, so if you activate mTOR, this is where your protein, your muscle will build really great. Okay, so mTOR is the biggest. Okay, there's a lot of different signals in the body actually, but mTOR is the most significant one. It's the muscle signal for muscle growth, right? So not only it will encourage protein synthesis, it's able to amplify our muscle effect to grow, it also sends that stop sign that we don't waste any more protein out from our muscle cells. So this further amplifies the whole effect of it. Now, on top of this, we have also included another subsidiary, which is vitamin D. So we know that vitamin D is something that we heard is being thrown around a lot, okay, in a lot of the milk powder, okay, we think that it's limited to just bone health, okay. But vitamin D, if you were to put it into this context and together with all these ingredients, it actually helps to amplify the effect of leucine. So leucine is already a very powerful ingredient. So if we were to add vitamin D, it helps to increase the protein synthesis up to an additional 14%. So this is really like a power thing that helps to boost up the overall muscle building capacity of our body. So awesome, right? Great, right? And when I was like, wow, this is really nothing we have seen before. And you have thought that this is the end of it. Okay, I think this is the end. I'm going to buy already. But this is not the end yet. So we have learned a lot about how muscle will, how we can make it, and how we can make it build. But have you ever thought about how we can optimize our muscle to function better? No? Right? So this is another perspective, right? So okay, now I know how to make it grow, but how can I make it work even better? So you can walk better, so that your muscle can contract and relax better, and you have better mobility overall. So this is where we need to understand how our muscle uses energy. So as you know, our muscle is a highly active organ, right? So it needs a lot of energy source. And with that it takes from our body, is able to produce desired fat, okay, and function. So muscle contraction and relaxation requires a lot of ATP. So ATP is basically, a visual representative of how our muscle would need batteries to function. So because of how much energy it requires, it needs to be charged regularly, just like our phones. Okay, our phone also have to be charged, right? Okay, I'm sure you all know that. But we never really thought about how our muscle also have to be replenished with ATP, because it's going to improve how the whole muscle building progress is going to work in our body. So this is where this creatinine comes into the picture. Okay, some people may have some misconception that creatinine, is for workout people, but actually it works a lot even for the layman. Because imagine having this optimized fast charger in your body. Okay, it speeds up everything. Okay, that your body's gonna utilize all this energy a lot more sufficiently. There's always gonna be ample amount of ATP readily in your body, and because of this, your muscle is able to produce energy a lot more productively as well. So it does make sense. Okay, if you are a gym goer and you go for exercise, okay, creatinine does help a lot in performance. So you're able to take in more reps, you're able to take stronger weightlifting, you can run more, okay? And for us as normal human beings, not to say those who exercise are not normal, but for the layman, sorry, okay, that you also benefit this in, the way you walk, your mobility, and also, interestingly, Dr. Benjamin Bigman points out that it has a lot of benefit in the brain, okay, because our brain is also a very metabolically active organ, and he said that there's a lot of preliminary studies that shows how it can slow down Alzheimer's, and there are studies showing about how it can improve sleep-deprived and stressed individuals. Okay, so I think many people in this modern society are stressed and sleep-deprived, so it will definitely benefit us as well. Okay, so there's a lot of promise in the area of creatinine. Now, for us, okay, I really admire how our science team come to produce a product, because every single ingredient that we put into it serves a purpose, and none of it is wasted, including the sweetener that we use, right? Ladies and gentlemen, even the sweetener has a function, all right? It's not just here to give us taste, which is fantastic, okay, we need that, but malic acid is also able to improve our body's ability to utilize this ATP and to give even better performance. It increases our energy production. Okay, it boosts our overall performance in energy, and this will overall optimize the effect of our muscle cell. Right. So I really think that every single ingredient is being stacked up so nicely, and this is actually being the production of this product is being supervised by Dr. Benjamin Bigman. So that's why you can see that every single ingredient that's here is being very well thought of, and I think that he has done a really good job, okay, being our scientist here in this company. All right, so all these things are super power packed, and it's been designed by a scientist. And through this, we will understand, oh, muscle is not just only for those who are always working out, for those who are really active, but it relates to me. Because I also want to have good metabolic health. I also want to not to have any insulin resistance happening in my body. So through this, we understand how muscle health impacts us. That it expands our mind from the traditional thinking about what muscle health is to us. It's so much more than just weight loss, and it's so much more than just having good looking muscles. In fact, it is central in sugar and insulin regulation. That muscle tissue is the body's largest user of glucose. And because of this reason, it's enough for us to make this a priority already, that we should not view muscle health as just a subsidiary or a secondary problem. And more muscle means that our body is more efficient at handling sugar, and we have a better capacity to clear glucose, and hence we have better glucose metabolism. This is going to lead to much better control in how our body uses sugar, and not to mention our insulin response as well. And during weight loss, okay, this is so key. During weight loss, especially with fasting or low protein intake, up to 30 to 40% of the total weight loss can come from muscle mass. So many people, because of a shortcut, okay, I know of people who do long fast. I'm sure everyone here also do a 16-hour fast, but there's a risk actually. If you don't eat enough protein, a high chance that you will also be losing a good amount of muscle mass. Whenever we lose weight, we're going to lose a certain percentage to muscle as well. Okay, that's a given. But especially with fasting, and if you don't really, if for long fasting and for those who are on one meal a day, the kind of thing, you are at high risk really of losing a lot of muscle. So this is where Stronghold plays a really good role here that helps to compensate that effect. So as you fast and you control the insulin resistance, this Stronghold can help to really buffer that. And not just only that, you can experience even greater results with Stronghold, which I will go into in a moment. And eating enough protein is only part of the equation. Okay, I want to set the record straight. It's not that after this, I don't have to take any more protein in my life. Okay, I just take a Stronghold, then I can forget about my chicken. Whatever. No, okay, you need to have good enough of food to feed your muscle cells. Okay, that source still have to be there, but that is only part of it. We need to have the activator. Okay, like all we have learned just now is activating that master signal. To activate that signal so that our muscle will respond to our efforts and it can be more efficient in that way. Okay, now is the most important and the most exciting part really is to show you our key study outcome. So unlike what I've seen, this really is a multifaceted product because I'm so amazed, okay, that it not just only delivers on the area of muscle, it also helps to strategically reduce the things that we do not want, okay, which is the muscle, which is the fat mass, increase GLP-1, muscle hypertrophy, and also even increase our short chain fatty acid. That overall, it just elevates the outcome for every single aspect that we are seeing here today. So these are some of the results that we have done, okay, through Dr. Bigman's lab. So you know about mTOR, right? We spoke about this, okay, and of course there are many other, but this is the most significant one. That after taking Stronghold, it increased up to 5 times. All right, control group is if you don't take anything, and Stronghold is if you take it. You go up to 5 times, and not only that, after taking Stronghold, you can see a big difference with GLP-1. And we spoke about this at length so much the past session, and we know and understand how important this is to control sugar and, of course, weight loss benefit, right? That just by the end of 60 minutes, you can see 60 minutes that the gap between the Stronghold group and control group is so high. Okay, this is the Stronghold group and control group. So it's already elevated so much more. And to give you a bit of context, this is a test that we measure short-term results. Meaning to say that we do 2 different research. So one is to see long-term effects and one is short-term. So this is the short-term effect that you see just by taking Stronghold in 1 hour. So by simply taking Stronghold in 1 hour, you are already experiencing a much more higher baseline of GLP-1, and your muscle is already building at a much higher rate compared to on Stronghold on the control group. So this is really enough to really just amaze you. So for long-term results, of course, we are looking into body composition, right? So long-term, like I said, it just is able to strategically improve the areas that we want and to reduce the areas that we do not want to. So the adipose tissue, which is fat mass, okay, reduce in Stronghold group. Okay, and control group, obviously, their fat mass is still elevated. And for muscle, it's able to, you can see quite a significant difference with both of these graphs. So with Stronghold group, it increased, and with the control group, it's still pretty much stagnant. So with this, you can see a much more accurate representative of our muscle fiber. So muscle fiber size increased significantly. We can see the diameter here. So with control group, the diameter is still pretty small. But after Stronghold, we can see there's a large increase in diameter. This means that your muscle has grown. Okay, there's muscle hypertrophy that is happening in our body when we take this Stronghold. Okay, so I think it's just fantastic. It not just only delivers a long-term benefit, but it can give us a very obvious change in just taking it for 1 hour, right? So now you understand, right? Why is this so viral everywhere? Okay, because it's really one of a kind and it's able to deliver on so many aspects by just taking one of these Stronghold. It can complement your overall feel great, and it can bring it to a much higher level if we were to just put this into our regime. So with this, okay, we can confidently say that Stronghold is for everyone. All right, is for those who are exercising, for those who are active, definitely you will benefit more, right? It's going to be great for recovery. And for those who don't, okay, there's also a lot of us that don't exercise. Okay, for those who just want to maintain good muscle tone, we don't want to have these flabby arms, right? You know, so this can really help to retain that and stick in really seamlessly in our regime. And if you're someone who have metabolic problems, for example, if you want to improve your blood readings, if you have a problem managing your sugar level, then you can take this as well. And if, for example, you are towards old age, or you have someone, okay, that's struggled with their muscle mass, they fall down a lot, they have problem with mobility. So Stronghold can also help those who are at that age. So it's really a product that can fit a wide variety of people, not just only for those who want weight loss. So I can see this, my mother can take it, my grandmother can take it, okay, I can take it, right? So it's something that is suitable for everyone. So don't limit yourself, okay, when it comes to Stronghold. So before I come to the end, right, I want to explain the difference a little bit, because I know it's a matter of time that people are going to ask. So what is the difference between our protein supplement and Stronghold, right? So protein supplement has this very important role as well. It gives us good quality protein, okay, because our muscle needs food. So high quality protein, the amino acid that we see just now, right, that graph, okay, we need to have a good amount of that. So LC vanilla is food for your muscle, so it has to be fat. So without food source, even with Stronghold, it cannot go very far as well. But what Stronghold does is that it tells our muscle what to do. It's the activator, right, that tells your muscle, hey, you know, I think, okay, incoming, what we should do. So it's able to amplify the results of mTOR and things like that that leads to even greater outcomes. So because of this, you can see there's a difference. So our body needs good fuel and also good command, right? And if we have that additional command that comes into our regime, we can experience a much more boosted effect of muscle growth and retention. All right, so this is the best combination if you can take both. So I'm sure that there are people who may not want to go with that, okay, that they think, okay, never mind, I just try Stronghold first. Okay, you can, but just ensure that in your daily life, okay, that you're eating enough good quality protein. All right, not all proteins are the same. Okay, not all of them get shuttled and get absorbed by our muscle, by the way. All right, so this is just something for you to take note here. Okay, so how to make Stronghold? Okay, Stronghold is best taken within the hour of your meal. It's during your eating window. Okay, it means within the 1 hour of your food intake, because that is when your muscle synthesis will happen. Okay, muscle synthesis will happen when there's food. So it's best to take during your eating window. So it's really up to you, before or after. You can take before first. Okay, after taking, then you know your GLP-1 ones can work out, but I think within the 1 hour time frame is not a problem. Okay, and you can mix it with balance or bias life. So for some people, for convenience, they want to take, you know, balance and Stronghold together, then take their meal, right? So you can totally do that. Okay, but for some individuals, for example, if you want to take CoQ10 or fish oil, okay, those are better to take post meal, because you need food to absorb the fish oil is better. Then you can take that after your meal. Okay, but just so long it's within the hour. Okay, but it's not recommended to take with Unicity, because there are certain, the chlorogenic acid may interact with the whey protein, so it's best not to take together. So with this illustration here, it's good to go already. Okay, so this is what the US have sent to us. So you can take balance. If you're taking S, you can take with dinner, no problem, or lunch. It's up to you. Okay, so this is how you were to incorporate Stronghold into your routine. Okay, so with Stronghold, man, I mean, it's already so good. I mean, we feel great. You can already experience the effect, right? How it's giving you better mood, mental clarity, giving you the GLP-1, and how balance can curb your carbohydrate intake, especially during your meal time. So you just incorporate that stronghold. Is definitely going to bring your metabolic health to a new level. You will likely see new breakthroughs in your own journey as well. Okay? You may be a long-time figure user and you think that, I kind of reached plateau already. So this could be a really promising product that that you can see much results in your own self. You can feel stronger, the kind of feeling that you take. So far, feedback from the ground, I mean, from with our scientists has been very positive. So yeah, this is something that I really encourage all of you to be on board. Okay, and by the way, stocks are limited. Okay, thank you very much for attending my session today. So it's a little bit long. Okay, I don't want to rush through because there's certain really important parts of this slide that I want you to really get hold of. Like I said, okay, I mean, I've done a lot of product launches so far. I say Stronghold has really broken the record, broke the record. All right, that before the event started, okay, we already sold out, man, on the pickup option. So we only have very limited, so the promo may end early. So this is the first time our promotion have to end early. We are forced to end early, okay, if the stock runs out. So I haven't tried yet, really, the Unimate Fierce, and I've not tried Balance, the one I've tried Unimate. I like apple spice, by the way. Okay, so these are very limited flavors, and it's only for this promotion. So if you are the lucky person, okay, you will be in the running of getting this and make your friends jealous. Okay, right? But I didn't get to try all these exclusive flavors, so I highly encourage you to start. And we will be announcing the lucky person on our Instagram page. So make sure that you tune into that on the 10th of October. All right, our team here will continue to share this slide, okay, as I go into the Q&A session. So now we're open for questions, right? So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, okay, anything that you want to know or clarify about Stronghold. Okay, how do we measure effectiveness of Stronghold? So how do we effectively through all the indicators that I showed you just now? So we have all the data, okay, like just now like I showed the mTOR, GLP-1, the muscle, the weight. So all those are already sufficient facts to show that it works. And by the way, Stronghold, you can see the effect internally in 1 hour of just taking this. So it's pretty amazing, really. And of course, long term, it also helps to increase all those baselines that we talked about. So those are the most concrete evidence that shows that Stronghold is indeed working for you. Okay, so question number 1, is Stronghold safe for those who has gout? Please, okay. Of course, I would say that our Stronghold, the protein amount is not a lot. Okay, actually, it's only just like 3.5 grams. It's not, it will not cause any issues. But please, if you have any medical issue, please ask a medical doctor. All right, we cannot give any recommendation for those who already have medical condition. All right, so yeah, please make sure that you ask the doctor on this. Okay, so can Stronghold be used together with creatine for pre-workout? Definitely. Okay, our creatine amount is actually pretty good. All right, it's comparable. So if you were to take, some people may swap their pre-workout with creatine, I mean with Stronghold. So rather than taking just creatine itself, of course creatine is just one function, but Stronghold has a multiple other ingredients that help to, is more effective than the pre-workout itself. So they may just take two of these Stronghold rather than one pre-workout, one creatine. So they can explore their option if they want to, right? But at the moment, if they're used to their pre-workout, sure, no problem. They can mix the Stronghold together with it for even optimal results. Okay, is it okay if I drink Stronghold then drink Unimate instead of eating? I think it really depends on your objective. You don't want to eat, is it? Because actually Stronghold is supposed to stimulate muscle building, and muscle building can only be done when there's food. So it's best, I would still think is to eat something, okay, if you want to take Stronghold. But of course, if you feel like you want to be in your, the calorie will most likely bring you out of a fast. But I think if you want to take this, in between your meals, I think it's fine. But I would think strategically it's still best to take times. You can take Stronghold at night, by the way, you won't be able to have any sleep issues. Okay, so with the guide that we see just now, you can take after a meal, but that really isn't a very hard fast rule. But ultimately, it's still best to take with your meal time not too far apart from there. Okay, Stronghold is better to pair with Feel Great for GLP-1, yes, definitely. So if you take Stronghold and Unicity, then it's able to have even more amplified result with GLP-1. Okay, so if you're talking about baseline, of course, the one that can really lead the way with GLP-1 is still Unicity first. Okay, because with the studies that we have shown, it's able to increase our circulating GLP-1, is able to increase genetic expression of GLP-1. So Unicity is still the baseline when it comes to GLP-1. So Stronghold also have pretty great results on its own, but to see a more definitive and long-standing long-term result, because what we show was short-term, you can see that effect if you were to pair up together with Fuel, right? So I think it's gonna definitely define whatever that you're experiencing with our current Fuel program. Okay, so with Unicity balanced lunch, okay, Unicity balanced lunch Stronghold, okay, CoQ10 balanced dinner repeat cycle. This is correct. Unicity in the morning, yes, when you're fasting, okay, balance with lunch, correct. Then Stronghold and CoQ10 can, post meal, right? Then balance and dinner repeat can. Actually, if you want, you can take your Stronghold with balance also at night. Can also. Okay, not necessarily. I mean, CoQ10 you have to take after food because CoQ10 is best with, it has some fat, it's fat soluble, so it needs the food. But if you can take Stronghold before your meal, also can, like, straight away with your meal, then you drink. So it's really up to you. You want to take like the Stronghold together with balance. Since you're already taking balance at dinner time, you can actually mix it with balance as well. Okay, so you don't have to feel too confused, right? Like, oh, should I take it before or after? So you can do that as well. But this sequence is fine too. All right. Okay, sour, can we make Stronghold balance and light fiber for lunch or dinner? Yes, you can. You can do that. But you'll be quite thick, I can imagine. So you just have to add a bit more water. So they won't be too thick for you to drink. But yeah, definitely. Okay, so I have a few questions. The leucine, okay, calcium HMB synergy I can hear add on fatigue resilience and better sugar control. Can I confirm you also assist in GLP-1 production? Is that why Stronghold is recommended to be used with lunch? Okay, interestingly, the GLP-1 activation, they say, is due to the amino acid. Okay, yes, the leucine and calcium HMB, it actually works on the gut cells. Interestingly, like they can, that all these amino acids can activate our L cells to also produce GLP-1. And with that, it can help to increase our circulating GLP-1 as well. All right. So of course, its effect is not as amplified compared to chlorogenic acid, but it's pretty impressive as well. So if you take that together, so with lunch, and the most important reason why we're doing this is because muscle building, mTOR. All right, you want to activate that usually is during mealtime. So for that muscle activation to happen, is best with food. So that's why it's being emphasized in this way of eating. Okay, so people are already skinny with this help. I know this is a really basic question, but I would like to understand the relevant science a little better. Yes, of course, because those who are very skinny, they have very high metabolic rate. So overall, their body just uses a lot more glucose and a lot more protein. They need a lot more protein compared to a normal individual to bulk, right? Some people have this challenge. So for those who have this, okay, of course, number one, their patient, they have to eat more. They want to bulk up, right? But adding this Stronghold will definitely help them to build even more muscle, okay, because of all the signaling that we have in the product, like you see calcium HMB and creatine as well, okay, that really help our body to optimize all that. So we don't only have one signaling, we have multiple. Okay, so collectively we put that together, that's going to help them. So if they're on Stronghold, it's great, but also recommend them to they have to take in more protein. Okay, because they are really very skinny, right, on baseline. So if they want to increase muscle mass, they may need to have more protein as well. Okay, so Unicity and Stronghold, just to confirm, shouldn't be used together, right? Yep. So mTOR is activated during food because you need to have ample amount of resources for your muscle to use in order to have muscle synthesis, okay, protein synthesis. And both are actually quite contradictory. So AMPK happens during fasting. Okay, when we fast, that's when we activate AMPK. So there's a very different pathway. So if you want to activate AMPK, then obviously that's during fasting, don't do anything. So if you want to activate mTOR, that is during mealtime. So that's why, yeah, we also don't recommend you to take them together. It's also this reason. Right, so the vitamin D, is that the reason why Stronghold has a slightly similar sensation to the old and rejuvenate the buzzing feeling? I don't think so. I think angelini we add some other ingredient, maybe some. I'm not sure honestly. What is making the buzzing feeling from it? It could be the GABA that's very strong on its own, but the buzzing feeling could be due to the malic acid. Okay, it's a slightly sourish thing. It could be one of the reasons that it can produce a kind of um, flavor. So yeah, I think could be that. It may not be due to the vitamin D. Okay, yes, yeah. Unfortunately, Malaysia is having a hard time. Okay, as always, it takes a much longer time to register. So we're working really hard to get this registered. So hopefully by next year, the early quarter of next year, hopefully that we can get that. If all things go well, but if not, it can even take up to a year. So I hope that we can have good news about Stronghold. All right, but for balance, you don't have to wait that long. Okay, it will be definitely faster than Stronghold. Okay, all right. So, okay, looks like that's the end of the questions. Is there any more? Okay, looks like actually it's quite a loaded slide. There's a lot of scientific things to take in, but actually it's a really amazing product overall. Because unfortunately I can't get it here. If not, I could have tried. I also want to try this actually for 1 month to see how it works. Who knows, later I will be 50 kids. I'm just joking, okay? But I'm really interested to know. And since you all have it, yeah, why don't you all try? Okay, please let us know your progress along with Feel Great. Yeah, I'm sure you're going to experience even greater results, and we can't wait to hear feedback from all of you who are able to get this product. Okay, so okay. So CK have also added a really important note. The Stronghold is limited time offer product. So after this batch, we might only get the next stock by November or December. Yeah, or maybe not also. Okay, really depending on how quickly they can give us the next batch. So yeah, by the way, so there's no promise that you can get this same batch so soon. Okay, so if I use 60U and 30B, then I should not take Stronghold for lunch, only after dinner. I'll recommend you during your dinner time. You can mix it with B actually. You can drink the Stronghold together with your balance. I think that's okay also. But yeah, can. Generally, if you follow the guidelines, it's not an issue. Okay? All right. So looks like that's the end of it. Wow, it's going to be 9 o'clock already. So thank you everyone for tuning in today. I hope that you feel the excitement. Quickly grab your stock, okay, and experiencing it for yourself. Then spread the good news, okay. Many people, they will benefit from Stronghold for sure. So thank you very much, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you. Bye.